These are creatures that make earthworms look like cuddly pets in comparison. Although garden worms can be a bit off-putting to some, their aquatic cousins have evolved into something far more sinister. Predators with venomous fangs, ambush hunters that can slice prey in half, and parasites that dissolve bones with acid. Think about this for a second. The longest animal on Earth is not a whale or a snake. It is a worm. The bootlace worm can stretch to 180 feet, which is longer than a blue whale. That is just the beginning of why aquatic worms are genuinely terrifying compared to their land-based relatives. Let me paint you a picture of what we are dealing with here. In 2009, staff at the Blue Reef Aquarium in Newquay noticed something disturbing. Fish were disappearing. Coral was being destroyed. They set traps and the traps were obliterated overnight. They tried hooks and those got mangled too. For months, something was terrorizing their tropical display tank and nobody could figure out what it was. Finally, after dismantling the entire reef display piece by piece, they found the culprit. A 4-foot monster with jaws like scissors and a taste for expensive tropical fish. They named it Barry after Lorena Bobbit because of its ability to slice things clean off. Barry was a bobbit worm, and he had been living undetected in their tank, emerging at night to feed on anything that got too close. Dr. Anya Schulze from Texas A&M University put it perfectly when she said these worms are ambush predators par excellence. But what makes them so much more terrifying than the humble earthworm in your backyard? First, let's talk about size. Your average earthworm grows to about 7 or 8 inches. That's nothing. Giant tube worms can tower 8 feet tall. Bobbit worms regularly reach 10 feet in length. And that bootlace worm I mentioned, 180 feet long. That is not a typo. You could lay it across a football field and still have room to spare. But size alone does not make something terrifying. It is what these creatures can do that really sets them apart. Landworms, they eat dirt and dead leaves. They are nature's recyclers, breaking down organic matter and enriching the soil. They are helpful, beneficial. Some might even say essential to healthy ecosystems. Aquatic worms, they are active hunters with specialized weapons. Take bloodworms, for example. Dr. William Plaxton, who studies them at the University of Alberta, calls them effectively a living copper syringe. These worms have hollow fangs made of copper, the only known creature with copper teeth, that they use to inject venom into their prey. The venom glands make up 3 to 4% of their entire body mass. When they bite, they can penetrate human skin with 0.7 newtons of force. Let me put that in perspective. The bloodworm industry is worth over $110 million annually because fishermen prize them as bait. But handling them requires thick gloves because their bite feels like a bee sting and can cause allergic reactions. These are not passive dirt eaters. They are venomous predators. And then there's the speed. A bobbit worm can strike in 20 milliseconds. That's faster than your eye can track. One moment a fish is swimming by, the next moment it has been sliced in half. The jaw-closing speed is comparable to a mantis shrimp strike. And if you know anything about mantis shrimp, you know that's absolutely terrifying. These jaws can exert enough force to cut clean through prey instantly. But perhaps what is most unsettling about aquatic worms is their alien appearance. Landworms are simple tubes, pink, brown, segmented, but basically just tubes. Marine worms look like they crawled out of a science fiction movie. They have iridescent bristles, tentacles that spread out like deadly flowers, eye stalks and appendages that defy description. Some glow in the dark. Others have bodies covered in what look like fur, but are actually thousands of tiny toxic spines. In 2017, Maidenhead Aquatics discovered an 8-foot bobbit worm in one of their tanks. The photos went viral because people could not believe something that looked so alien could be real. Its body was covered in rainbow iridescence. Its 5 antennae swayed hypnotically in the current, and its jaw structure looked more like a bear trap than anything biological. Speaking of alien biology, let's talk about survival abilities. Cut an earthworm in half, and despite the myth, it usually dies. Cut many marine worms into pieces, and each piece can regenerate into a whole new worm. Some ribbon worms take this to an extreme. They can shoot their entire digestive system out of their body to capture prey, then regenerate a new one. That's not just alien, that's horror movie material. And we have not even touched on the parasitic species yet. Meet the Oocidacs, also known as zombie worms. These creatures colonize whale carcasses on the ocean floor and literally dissolve the bones with acid to feed on the nutrients inside. They have no mouth, no gut, just root-like structures that bore into bone, and a body full of symbiotic bacteria that help them digest what they extract. Then there are the environmental extremes these creatures call home. Earthworms need moist soil and moderate temperatures. Too hot or too cold, too wet or too dry, and they die. But marine worms, Pompeii worms, live next to deep-sea thermal vents in temperatures up to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot enough to poach an egg. Other species thrive in the crushing darkness of ocean trenches 36,000 feet below the surface, where the pressure would instantly kill most surface creatures. In January 2024, researchers discovered new bioluminescent worm species in the Mariana Trench. These worms have evolved in complete darkness, using their light not to see, but to communicate and hunt. Imagine being a small fish in the pitch-black abyss and suddenly seeing a beautiful, glowing lure. You approach, and the last thing you experience is being engulfed by a creature you never saw coming. The deep-sea mining industry is currently battling conservationists over these habitats because every expedition reveals new species. We are discovering giant worms every month that have been down there for years, perfectly adapted to conditions that would kill us in seconds. But here is what really gets me. These are not rare, exotic creatures confined to remote locations. They are everywhere in the ocean. Those expensive tropical fish in aquarium stores, there is a decent chance they are sharing their tanks with stowaway worms. That fresh seafood at the market? It might have hitchhiked with some interesting passengers. In 2020, when COVID-19 had everyone stuck at home watching nature documentaries, marine biology content exploded online. Videos of bobbit worms hunting went viral on TikTok, gaining millions of views. People were fascinated and horrified in equal measure. The comment sections were full of variations saying, "Burn it with fire, and this is why I do not swim in the ocean." And they're not entirely wrong to be concerned. While attacks on humans are rare, they do happen. Bloodworm harvesters in Maine regularly get bitten despite protective equipment. Divers have reported close encounters with large bobbit worms that mistake fingers for prey. In tropical regions, swimmers occasionally step on fireworms and experience excruciating pain from their toxic bristles. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect is how much we don't know. Marine biologists estimate we've discovered less than 20% of ocean species. Every deep-sea expedition finds new worms. Every DNA analysis of ocean water reveals genetic signatures of unknown creatures. The ocean is full of worms we haven't even met yet. Current research is revealing just how important and terrifying these creatures are. Scientists are studying bloodworm venom for medical applications. Those copper fangs might lead to new biomaterials. The symbiotic bacteria in tube worms could help with carbon capture technology. The regeneration abilities of certain species might unlock secrets of tissue repair. These nightmarish creatures might actually save lives one day. But that does not make them less terrifying. Matt Slater, the curator who dealt with Barry the Bobbit Worm, said it best. The bobbit worm is like something out of a horror movie. He is right. While earthworms quietly improve our gardens, their aquatic cousins have evolved into apex predators, bone-dissolving parasites, and venomous hunters. So why are aquatic worms so much more terrifying than landworms? It is not just one thing, it is the combination of size, speed, venom, alien appearance, and predatory behavior. It is the fact that they thrive in environments that would kill us instantly. It is their ability to remain hidden until they strike. It is the knowledge that for every species we have discovered, there are probably 5 more we have not. The next time you see an earthworm on the sidewalk after rain, maybe help it back to the grass. It is harmless, beneficial, and nothing like its oceanic relatives. Those creatures belong in the depths where they have ruled for 500 years, reminding us that the ocean is not just mysterious, it is full of genuine monsters. And the most successful monsters on Earth might just be worms. Landworms help your tomatoes grow. Sea worms dissolve bones, inject venom, and slice prey in half with jaws that close faster than you can blink. One enriches the soil, the other enriches nightmares. That fundamental difference between helpful recycler and active predator is why aquatic worms will always be infinitely more terrifying than their terrestrial cousins.